Good afternoon, all. So Angular 2 has been released a few days ago, and it's been around quite a while. I think many of us have at least heard the news that Angular 2 is coming. So today we are going to have a look about Angular 2.0 and how can we write a project throughout the course. Today we will be looking into a small introduction into Angular 2.0 and how to set up the quick start project that has been released by Angular. Angular is a framework for building JavaScript based single page applications, and it lets you extend your HTML syntax to express your application's behavior in a more clear way. And Angular is one of the leading frameworks for single page application development right now. And Angular is backed by Google, so it's not going away anywhere, uh, and it will be here for a pretty long time. So comparing Angular 1 and Angular 2, we can see several differences. One is that Angular 2 is completely component driven and it is module based. So you would see many modules in Angular 2 than Angular 1, and the core has been also separated into modules. So we can use them when we want rather than having the whole core module with us. And Angular 2 also have a simplified or more common syntax, and it has an improved dependency injection in place. And Angular 2.0 also have improved performance by using techniques like ahead of time compilation. And unlike Angular 1 versions, Angular 2 supports have the native mobile support. So using frameworks like native script, we can easily convert Angular 2.0 applications into mobile applications. So when we talk about Angular 2.0, the main language that we will be looking to when we are going to develop or write an application will be TypeScript. TypeScript is superset of JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, you know TypeScript. The main reason behind that we are using TypeScript to write Angular 2 applications is that TypeScript is already compliant with ECMA script 6. So it has several new features that we are not seeing in JavaScript right now. These new features include modules, classes, and IntelliSense. If you have a browser that if you have an IDE that supports it, and also compile time checking and access modifiers. So basically TypeScript is best of both worlds. If we talk about the architecture of Angular 2 applications, there are several key components. So you might have heard the word module, which is said by me a couple of minutes ago. So these modules help organize the Angular application into interconnected blocks of functionality. So instead of one huge application, you can separate your application into several chunks of functionality. And next we have components. Components holds the template, data, and the behavior of a view. So if you take a page, the template or the HTML structure, the data, and the behavior of the view will be defined in the component. And these components can hold other components inside them. And components help in breaking down complex structures. So inside a module, we can have several components also. Next, we have directives. Directives are twofold. We can see two main types of directives in Angular 2.0. First one is the structural directives. So what structural directives does is it adds, removes, or replaces the elements in DOM. And next we have attribute directives. Attributes directives will extend change the behavior of an existing element. So rather than doing any addition, putting any additional elements in the node. The major part of Angular is the router. So router holds the navigation logic, and the navigation logic is a main part of an application. So this is an Angular 2. They have rewritten the whole router from the scratch. So this is something new we have here. And next we have services, which we have seen in Angular 1 also. So services hold the logic that is not related to DOM, such as HTTP request and login. Today we are going to have a small hands-on session. For that we will be using Node and Node package manager and a code editor of your choosing, and a web browser, that's also a web browser to your choosing. So let's get our hands dirty. I have downloaded the Angular 2 Quickstart from Angular web page. So you can just type Angular and you can go to angular.io page, and there you have the Quickstart application. So you can just go to their GitHub page and just clone it or just download it, and then you can extract it to a folder, and then you can open the Node.js command tool. Just a reminder, for this you should have the Node version 5 or higher and npm 3 or higher, so otherwise this won't work. So I have already those in place. So first you should type npm install to install the packages. So I have already installed them, but for the sake of the others I will just do that. So after installing them, you will probably get warning signs such as this, but as long as you don't get an error, that's fine. You can assume that it will work. Then you can just type npm start. When we type npm start, it will compile the TypeScript code that we have in place, which will be going through in few moments, and then it will open a browser window and it will render the application accordingly. In addition to Node, we have several other things also which makes this a bit more interesting. So that is use of the light server and browser sync. So what it does is basically it supports the live reload functionality. So if I just do a change, the browser will automatically refresh and it will show the changes that I have done. So now let's go through the code and the structure in the project a bit to see what we have here. We have the app folder inside. So inside the app folder you would see all the related TypeScript code and the compiled JavaScript code that we have. So basically what happens when we type npm start is that the TypeScript code will be compiled into JavaScript code. And we have the index.html in the outer folder. So it will just have some script tags along with the Angular my app tag. So we will see how this my app tag will be filled with the content that we have So basically now it just says my first Angular app, but we can of course edit that. First let's have a look at a small let's start from the small things, and let's go to the higher level components of the code. First we have something called the app component, and I'm selecting the TS that specifies the TypeScript file. So inside there you will see my first Angular app inside an h1 tag. So this is the component that is being rendered in the application. So this is a typical TypeScript file that we will see in an Angular 2 project. So it will basically comprise of you only have one import functionality, import statement here, but you can have more than one import statements, and then you have something we call decorators. So these decorators basically tells which type is this component or this class is. So class is another functionality that we have in TypeScript. So the decorators will tell Angular which type of a class that we have, and also we can give option objects like the one that we have given here to extend the functionality of that class. So right now we have defined a selector. So the selector is my app. So if you remember the index HTML, that we had a my app tag here. So what we are basically saying is if Angular sees my app tag anywhere in the HTML, just replace it with this template. So it will just replace the my app with the h1 tags, and inside that my first Angular app. So this is a component. So you can see that we have a component decorator here. So this acts as a component which relates to the view that we are seeing in this page. So it's this view. So inside this component we have defined how to select it and what should be in that view. And unlike Angular 1 versions, we have to import the things we need. So here you would see that we have imported component, that is the decorator, from Angular core. So we need to import what we need inside every Angular 2 file, and we are exporting after we have done all the changes and described the class as we need. We export the class by giving a name. We have the given name is app component. So this whole component will be exported as a small module, and then we have something called app module. Inside app module, it defines what are the things that the application is being made of. So you would see it has ng module, and also it has imported browser module, and it also has imported the app component module, or the component that we have just gone through. See, other all imports are done from Angular libraries. The first one from Angular core, and the next one is from platform browser. So here we are defining an ng module. So this is another important thing to notice, that ng module is like the core part of the application. So for any Angular 2 applications, you should at least have one ng module. So we are telling that we need the browser module, and we have the app component with us, and we should bootstrap it. So that's basically saying that we should start the app component in the application, and we are also exporting this as app module. Next, we have the main TS. So this is like the highest level code that we can see in the application. So it will import something called the platform browser dynamic, which is a separate library, and also the app module that we have just seen. And at last, the main TS, the TypeScript file, will call the platform browser dynamic and bootstrap module. So it will bootstrap the app module that we have just seen. So the app module will consist of our component of that we have just seen. So it will start up our application. As we have no navigation logic and all of that, it will just show the view to us. A small thing to notice about that platform browser dynamic is that now we are running this application in desktop or in a laptop. So now we don't need to worry about mobile devices and such. But if we are having if we are planning to develop a hybrid applications, we need to change this accordingly. So this will just open a web browser and then bootstrap our application into that browser. We will look into the advanced details later. So let's just do a small change and see how it will show in the browser by the browser sync and light server. So now I'm hitting save. Now you can see the browser will refresh and display the new text that we have. So this is a small this is like the starting point of the Angular 2 development series that we are planning to do. So we are going to bit by bit develop a small application. So in the process of developing it, we will look at the core concepts of Angular 2. So it will be possible for you to develop an Angular 2 application from the scratch. So this is what we have for today. So join us with the next session. Thank you.